It's Shannon.
Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon Live.
It's Shannon.
Because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning in the midst of COVID?
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put your community first.
Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon, to our hot topics. And tonight we have a special guest joining us, Miss Nikkia Daniels, who's the author of Strange Superpowers, that we're going to talk to her later about it. But right now, we have to get to hot topics, ladies. How are you? How you doing?
How are you? Welcome.
Well, you know what's hot on the table now is we just picked up Casey White and Vicky White. I mean, what is this lady thinking about? I'm trying to imagine, like, why would you risk everything for an inmate that's serving 75 years? I don't get it.
Well, that's it. She's not thinking. I mean, you think about it. I mean, are you that conditioned, living in a working in a jail cell, that you don't know what's right, what's wrong? Like, what is the problem with that? How do you sacrifice everything that you have, your job, your pension, your lifestyle, and just throw it away for something that's never going to materialize? So I don't know what the method to the madness is, but at the end of the day, there are no winners.
No, she killed herself, didn't she?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, she ended up killing herself. Because I guess she thought right quick that, well, I'd rather die than go to jail, because you know she's going to jail for a long time.
Yeah.
So I guess she decided death was, well, still I'd rather live and just went on to jail, because I don't even understand. No, because I still don't look. When you're trying to plan something like this, it has to be airtight. That's number one. You have to make sure all the pieces are in place when you're planning something like this. Now, see, if I'd have been taking him from the jail to claim that I was taking him for some mental evaluation, and I know the plan is to escape, I'm not getting in no car going across country driving in a car. I'm going to be on my way to the airport with my false passport for him, everything in check, because I'm going to be going to one of those countries that you can't be extradited back to the United States. Who is going to go on a car ride across the states?
Well, obviously
I know how that plan was. But it's not just that. She also forfeited her pension. Wasn't just about going to jail. Everything you work for, you lose. You lost. So what's the purpose?
That was her last day of work too. Yeah.
The day before.
Yeah, because she sold her house and everything. She sold her house and everything. So
she
this is what I'm saying. Like, I think I thought about, I tried to, well, we can't figure out because we don't know what was in her head, but I know it had to be low self-esteem. You have to have low self-esteem that you would take a chance on running away with an inmate. And this is a violent killer. I mean,
I disagree that you don't need low self-esteem. You need just to be.
Well, it has to be something with your esteem that you think you got to talk to somebody in prison.
Listen, you got stuff going on today doing that same thing. You know, inmates with the officers. How do you find female inmates pregnant in jail, and vice versa?
Well, I mean, I've heard about the guards, having relationships with.
Yeah, well, that's just as bad. That's just as bad.
It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, the women guards be pregnant by the inmates and stuff like that. I think like 3 of them got fired like last summer, wasn't it? So they all by the same inmate.
They bring in contraband, firearms, drugs, all kinds of stuff they bring in. So everybody's jeopardizing their job. Do you not think
but I still don't think being pregnant is as bad as it is bad, but like getting pregnant compared to escaping and taking the inmate with you. Like, what kind of life did you think you and him was going to have? There's nowhere to hide in the United States.
And he went to a car wash. It was on camera. That's how they got caught, at a car wash.
Well, this is what I'm saying. That's my point.
To wash the car. Yeah.
That's my point. When you're going to do something like this, you have to plan it to a T. There is no way you're going to be switching cars going across state.
I wonder if he had some insight about how the plan was going to go. Who decided to go up north? when they're closer to the south, closer to closer to the south.
Well, they shouldn't have been going north or south. You should have been on the way to the airport. You could have boarded that plane before they got your pictures all out there.
But when you got to do COVID tests and all that kind of stuff, and here and there, got some kind of restrictions and stuff going on. So that may be taking a chance. And besides, you don't know what kind of window they had from when they left the facility to when they became known.
Okay, it was a whole day. We had a whole day.
It was a whole day. This is what I'm saying. You had plenty of time to get to the airport. Get out of here. And as far as the vaccine card and stuff, you get those and write them up yourself. And just get them stamped or whatever. You can get those free cards. People were doing it all the time with COVID. So
Lottie, just let us know what your plan is next time you try and escape.
What? Let me tell you, if I'm trying to escape, trust me, I'm gonna be on my way to the airport. I'm gonna make sure the passport is like it's supposed to be. I'm on my way to the airport to one of those countries that they cannot come to get me to bring me back to the United States. I am not wasting time getting in a car, switching cars, going across country and all that kind of stuff. Because what kind of escape is that? Get out of here. No.
I'm not well planned escape.
Anyway, well, I'm sad that it ended the way it did, that she ended up killing herself or whatever, but at least they got him back in jail. But we have to talk about our crazy justice Supreme Court people here wants to take our rights away as women. And when is this going to stop? Look, I'm getting nervous about this now because I feel that if you feel that you can overturn all these laws that we have had in place for years, then you're going to be turning other laws in place that you're going to be telling us what to eat, when to sleep, when to go and come back now. Right. What is this? This is something to be thinking about because this is not good. This is not good. This is not just about abortion.
Right.
It's beginning of population control.
Right. That too.
Population control.
Even with the abortion rights and stuff, like who are you to tell women what they can do with their bodies and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody make up their mind, whether they want to have an abortion or whatever, because it depends on what that situation is. You understand? But because sometimes women might get brutally raped or, and end up being pregnant, and that might be something that they just can't deal with.
Right.
Rape, incest, all kinds of things
that comes up and stuff. So this is what I'm saying. So for you to say, if something happens to you and you get pregnant and that person say, well, I can't go through with this. And you're going to say you have to go through with this. And then just like they're saying, they're going to start going other places, or they're going to have someone to do the abortion themselves, and people going to end up dying. There's going to be a lot of women end up dying.
They're going to be self-aborting too. They wouldn't have to go anyone. They're going to be self-aborting. And you're going to find a lot of women hemorrhaging. There's going to be a lot of deaths behind that. But the interesting thing about it, you can set this federal law, right? Change this whole doctrine about Roe versus Wade. But you have the individual states that they can create their own laws to make it easier for people to go from one state to the next. So, I mean, how valid is this law? I mean, this we're talking about a whole country that's really giving the states their individual the individual power to say yay or nay. But if you look on the map, most of those states that are being benefited from this law are all red states. Most of them are all red states.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And they're all Republican states just about.
That's overturning it, right? And one state made it illegal for Plan B pills, or they're about to pass the law to make it illegal to take a Plan B. So that's even stopping it even further. So,
but look at the criteria for it. 6 weeks. 6 weeks. You don't even know that you're pregnant until your 8th or 10th week. So why are they even making it below the threshold for you to even know?
Because one of those white lawmakers said we can feel the baby in our stomach when it first be conceived.
Was that a male or female saying that?
It was a male.
Thank you. Thank you. Of course. Exactly. Tell me how
so that's my point. Just like Kathy just said, they taking away your rights now for this. They already started taking your rights away for voting. So This is what I said before. You can sit back, not go to the polls and vote if you want to. That's why they're taking your rights away from you to vote, because they see you don't go to the polls. Because every time it comes for voting or whatever, and you trying to tell people they need to get to the polls to vote, oh, well, I'm not going to vote because they're not going to do anything for us anyway. Like, where do you get this attitude from?
That's a problem. The us is the problem. Why are you waiting for people to do something for you? What are you doing for yourself as a people? And that's part of the problem I'm always having when voting. The voting issues come up. Everybody's waiting for somebody to do something for them. What are they doing for themselves as a people?
Well, but the voting also helps you do something for yourself as a people, because what happened is, now you always complain why you don't have certain things in your neighborhood, why we don't have clinics, why we don't have good doctors, why we don't have this. Don't you? We didn't. I don't know how many times you have to say this. The way you get all of that stuff in the neighborhood is because they go by who vote. They look at who voted, where they voted at, and that's who get the resources.
Yes, granted. But what I'm talking about is you can't worry about a community if you can't deal with individual families. So you can teach families that build communities, and you can have say so overall for a generation. But if you got to worry about one person voting and thinking their vote's going to make a difference, it does not make a difference unless it's a collective action. So that's what I mean by we have to start with the families in your household before you can see what's going on down the block of your community.
But how many times do we have to say the same thing over and over? Every year that comes for voting, you're repeating the same thing. Why should you have to keep telling people to go vote? All you have to do is put it on the recorder and say it because every time it's time to vote, every time it's time to write a letter, even in your own neighborhood, say if they're not picking up the garbage. I just give an example. If they're not picking up the garbage like they're supposed to, and you say, okay, we need everybody to write a letter to sanitation, to your congressman or whatever. Do they write letters? No.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they ask me. I don't know.
No, they don't. I can tell you they don't.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Because you get people on your own block when something happens and you ask them to write a letter or make a phone call or whatever. They're not making no phone call and writing letters.
It's too many people, like businesses that are in silos, and you find those communities where you have something where a stoplight is affecting the whole block, and even if you don't have kids, they sign and join the masses just for the cause. And I understand that's what Lottie's talking about. It's for the cause. So even though you don't may not have kids on the block, that traffic accident on those corners, for how many they are, they say, okay, we need to stick together and sign this petition, and that's what they do.
Right.
Yeah. But that
and a lot of times they don't want to put their name on anything. Oh well, right. I'm not gonna put my name down there, because if I put my name down there, this might happen. And what you two be worried about what happened rather than worried about what needs to happen. This is what needs to happen. But no, we, for some reason, I don't know what it is, we just can't come together to get the things that we need for our neighborhood. But ladies, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back and talk to our author today about her book, Strange Superpowers. We'll be right back.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
School.
I'm just a mess, now I'm just a mess, and you're just a person that changed my life. Birthday in my mind, seems to take a step out. Yes, I'm in now.
Music can help you express how you're feeling. When you can't find the language, find the lyrics.
We're back with our special guest today, Miss Nikkia Daniels.
Yes, Miss Nikkia Daniels is the author of the book Strange Superpowers, and I'm excited to know what's going on with these powers and what is the method to the madness. Welcome again.
All right. Well, my book is basically is written about my children when they were smaller. It's like loosely written about them. So their parents disappear, and they find out they have these powers, and then Miss Harrison comes along and she finds the kids and she helps them because they were by themselves for a long time. And then while they're going through all of this, they're learning that they got powers, and they're finding strange people, and they get into fights, and they're going out at night and exploring. So it's a big adventure plus a mystery all wrapped up in one. So it's an exciting book, and it's like a big cliffhanger. So, you know,
So,
it's going to be a series, so there's more books coming. The first series. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it really reminds. It's a super adventure, so the kids would definitely love it. So you definitely have to go out and purchase the book. I mean, it's on Amazon, it's at Barnes and Nobles, and what are some of the other stores that you have in also?
Those two are the main ones, but I cannot remember the rest of them right now. Don't beat me up because there's so
There's
many.
a whole list of them. I know. In other words, you can never purchase it anywhere. They purchase books from it anywhere. But it was so funny in the book, you know, when the kids, you know, of how everything happened with the kids, and then they find out they have these powers, and it's like when young people find out they have something, you know, they're just so excited about it. They can't wait to see, you know, to use it at the right time. They ready to go outside at night and practice their powers and stuff. And they're very young kids. They were young. I think Kaylin was 5? She's 5, and the other two was like 9 and 12. I think it was 9 and 12.
Well,
So these young kids going around beating up the other kids that was bullying them.
Kayla was really excited. She want to know what else she can do. Like, doing stuff, and you know, she just felt, although she was young and small, she felt big and tall. You know, so she was just ready to go.
It helped them, like if they have low self-esteem and things, to basically, like, how can I say it? You can explore your mind and come into your own and be like, you know what, I could be like these kids, and I may not have a superpower, but I find my own type of superpower. And especially like when it comes to bullying, to stand up for yourself in any situation that you're in. So,
right. But see, the good thing about it, even though we're talking about the kids in the book is being an adventure, but just think about our kids, our own kids, and people that have young kids. Sometimes it's just their behavior, their strange behaviors, the way they come up with all of this stuff sometimes that they come up with. And sometimes you really have to look at them to see, are they aliens from another planet? Or some of the stuff that they come up with. Because our kids have these imaginary minds.
Right. That's what I thought about when I was writing it. I'm like, kids' minds just go far. So as they keep talking, I'm writing and I'm adding more to it. And next, you know, we had a book.
That's great. This you got to put your thoughts on paper, because it's like strange things. You just be, it's just amazing, right? Especially when it's much smaller and they don't really understand what they're saying or what they're thinking. You're trying to figure out, like, what you talking about? Or what methods of the madness? Or what kind of behavior? What you doing? Because you're not familiar with it. But in their mind, they got it like all under control. They're like, I got this. I'm thinking about this. They see this, or sometimes they have these imaginary friends that they're talking to, and you just wonder, like,
okay. But what made you decide to write it as I guess you call it a mystery book with kids with power? I mean, how did that come about? You know, because it could have gone either way. But how did this power thing come up?
I love mysteries. I love cliffhangers, and I love superpowers. So I just threw it all in there together.
All right, great. I'm curious to know how many. Have you ever thought about making it into a TV show or TV series?
Of course. You know, when I do things, I always think like 10 steps ahead. Like, how far can this go? So of course I thought, this could be a TV show. This could be a movie. We could have T-shirts and amusement parks. You know,
exactly.
My kids have their own separate rides, and you know, with stuff. Yeah, I thought about that.
I'm glad I found out that it was a series, because after I read the book, I was like, wait a minute, something is not missing here. What happened to the parents? Who's this strange man coming to help save them? You know, it was like things that you had in there that you had to really, you know, what's happening there, you know. And I was like, I have to know.
They'll make you want to go read the second book. That's why. Which is
that's right, Nikkia. Don't give it all away in the first book. They're like, nah, we done been there.
No, not give it all away in the first book. But I'm saying I'm glad to find out it's a series of books, because I was left like wondering, like, oh, I need to know what happened to these parents. I need to know who this strange man is. It was like things that you wanted to know, and you were saying, okay, wait a minute, something is not. I'm gonna have to call her to ask her what what happens here. So now she tells me it's a series. So now I know I got to wait for the next. I got to wait for the next book that's coming out. Because even with Miss Harris in there that took over the kids after the parents disappeared and everything, it's just how she even noticed the kids was living by themselves and how she just happened to knock on the door to ask them if they want to come over to her house. Because I thought she was some alien also with some powers too, because she was just trying to get the kids.
She's not really an alien, but
wait to find out.
Mysterious Miss Harrison. So I guess Miss
Exactly.
Harrison will be in one of the books as well.
Yes, that's going to be book 3. Miss Harrison has her own book where we're going to tell the backstory of the whole, how she came about, how she found the kids and everything. So for book 3.
But I like how you start off the book. You gave some insight about the current day and it went back how it all started.
Yeah. When I first wrote it, it was a while back. But then I added on like the COVID things and and I had to put the backstory to it regardless, because then y'all would have been like, where these kids come from? How they get there? You know, so yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. The powers came from COVID. That's a lot.
Wait, came from COVID. Why the powers come from COVID?
Listen, it must have been something in their vaccine or something happened.
Exactly, because this is what I'm saying. You was thinking of some of everything, like, okay, where they get these powers from? Are they aliens? Are they from another planet someplace? And you know how they come in forms or whatever. Or I'm thinking that the parents I was even thinking that the parents had some powers, and maybe the parents went off to do something and left the kids, but eventually they're gonna show up again someplace, down the road.
The kids not giving up to you too much up, but I'll tell you what, I think Miss Harris got something to do with getting rid of parents because she ain't have no kids. She
exactly. This is what I'm saying. You can think of all of this stuff in there because that was just too odd, for Miss Harris to just come knock on their door like she did.
But she got the wrong house.
She wanted to find the kids.
She wanted to what?
She wanted to find, well, not the kids, but she wanted to find some kids.
Exactly. She had to get rid of the parents to get them kids. I'm telling you.
Well, yes, something wasn't adding up there. Something wasn't adding up there.
It may be. Maybe it might.
But the thing about it is, as I was saying before, with our kids today, like these kids that's born today, they already born like with something. I don't know. It's different with the kids that's born today. They have so much imagination. They already come here smart. To start with, because it just amazes me how these kids can learn this technology like they do. And I'm talking about these little 3 and 4 year olds working a phone, working a tablet. I mean, I didn't even know how to turn the phone on. Please get out of here. When an 8-year-old can tell me how to work an iPhone.
We had the dialing phones that you had to
the rotary.
I know, but I'm saying this is why I said it amazes me, because these kids now are so smart. And that's why when it comes to schooling, that's why I get upset, because I say, now hold up. There's a problem here. Because if these kids can learn this technology like they do, learn how to operate these phones on their own, and nobody's teaching them. So don't tell me you can't do your work in school.
That's true.
You can learn how to read and do your work if you can sit there and do that technology like I see you doing on the phone. And that's what amazes me, that I say that kids can learn if they're directed in the right way, to do what they need to do and everything.
Yeah. They get lost in the technology too. That's what mainly happens. Because once they get lost in it, then it's hard to get them back to the schooling. And because I know a lot of kids lost like a year from COVID, and I know these kids are behind. But guess what? They didn't put down them phones and them tablets and YouTube.
They bought them more.
Yeah, but you know why? I don't know, because I mean, each state their own. Because everybody do what they want to do with their own kids and stuff like that. But my thing is, they still should be certain times those kids are on those phones and tablets and things like that. And then certain times you need to be reading your books and doing your schoolwork or whatever. I don't have a problem with them with the technology stuff. I do have a problem because a lot of the homes have let the technology take over the kids, and they're not spending enough time, doing their reading. Because when do you ever see the kids with a book in their hand? But you always see them with phones and stuff in their hand,
Yeah.
or a tablet or whatever. And even during the pandemic, that was the time to catch your kids up where they're reading and they work in school when the pandemic was going on. Because what else was they going to do?
Oh,
But
yeah,
you
'cause
allowed them to stay on these phones and tablets the whole time.
my
That's
kids
why
did
a lot of the kids are behind. They're
Yeah.
what?
They can read books. They can read books on their phone and stuff too, though. They do have like reading.
Yeah, but you have to make sure that's what they're doing, because
Right.
most of the time parents are not checking what them little kids are doing on the phone and stuff. They be on YouTube listening at this other stuff going on and listening to these bad words and stuff that's going on. No, they still should be time set. Even if it's on the phone, it's good. If it's on the tablet, it's good. But at least an hour every day they need to be reading.
That's
at least
true.
an hour every day. They need to be doing some kind of math every day or whatever. Because if you don't do it on a consistent basis, that's why they don't keep it in their heads.
Yeah.
And they lose what they're supposed to be learning and everything. Right. And then now it's hard for you to catch up.
Yeah.
It's hard for you to catch up, So as parents, we have to keep our kids doing things that they're supposed to be doing and everything. You know what I'm saying? So look, I mean, like I said, it's each to their own. But like when my daughter was young going to school, she had to read. Even when I was cooking, I would have her reading. I wasn't listening to her while she was reading. I just pretend I was listening, but I knew she was reading, because I was busy, but I'm still listening while she's reading.
Well, Lottie, Nikkia gonna have to get those books in check and bring her back to the show for we can get updates.
It's time to go already. It's already time to go. Well, listen, Miss Daniels, we thank you so much for coming on, and best of luck with your book. We're gonna be looking for the second one and the third one. I think we probably have at least about 4 to get the whole story told or whatever. So go to the stores, go on her website. This is her website, and find out where you can purchase the book and get it. The book is really good. Get it for your kids. It's a really, really good mystery. If I enjoyed it, you will enjoy it, because I'm waiting to see what happens. Take care. And as always, we'll see you next time.
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
It's